Welcome to the final part of the columns commentary. We're tackling doubles mode. In doubles mode, apparently in the menu, only player one can select the options. I have no idea why. Now, this is the only time that you actually get a true co-op mode in the columns series. Because after this, columns 2 doesn't really do it. And I know for a fact that columns 3, because columns 3 is more of a battle game than a normal game, and it's just not your cup of tea when it comes to co-op. You could have like a 2-on-1 battle where 2 people work together to take down one person, but it's just not as good as it was in the first one when it came to having a co-op mode. So this is really your only chance to get a co-op mode in a columns game. And even the Master System and Game Gear versions of this title, they don't feature it. A whole bunch of games didn't feature the co-op mode from here on out. When it came to Sega having a puzzle game, it's like after this, it's like Sega bombed. Sega just bombed after this. The only good game that was a puzzle game after this was Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and even then, it doesn't have perfectly good reception as it did nowadays, but it's just not what you would see from Sega now. But I might as well get into the PS2 version of columns, seeing that I have nothing to really say about the Genesis game anymore. The PS2 version, apparently it's a modernized version of the original columns for the arcade, along with a new plot line. Now, the game was made by 3D Ages and Renderware. Now, 3D Ages, I believe they made the Sega Saturn games. I believe they made Daytona USA and a few other titles, and an Upside Down Cross. I didn't even notice that, but I digress. Columns for PS2 was one of the games that you found on Sega Classics Collection, and the designs that they had for that game was pretty superior to the old one, although I still prefer the old one because 16-bit is better than... I believe that the newer version was in whatever the PlayStation rendering was. Although it looked like as if it used PS2 rendering. I can't tell, because certain PS2 games use the old PS1 rendering, and it's pretty stupid the way they do it. The only game that didn't do that was Fanavision. I still have my old disc of Fanavision. I think I might do an LP of that when I get my DVD recorder finally. But hey, that's a tangent for another time. Nevertheless, this is the much more. This is not a calming mode. It's definitely a test of endurance, because you don't know when you'll be switching people or whatever. You have to like really take your time. And if you don't, well, then you're pretty much ducked. And how do I end up getting the question mark? To go back, by the way, you have to select arrow. Now, Neo Morgan, as I said before, Neo Morgan, who is my head assistant, my full head assistant of Roya Meadow and Raku Meadow, he had worked alongside with me in this little playthrough of doubles, because I don't want to play this on one controller. Somehow I accidentally hit restart here. That never happens, I stress. That never normally happens. But okay, let's tackle this in Flash Columns, shall we? And I'll stress this, Flash Columns goes by much more quicker when it comes to playing in doubles mode. If you're playing on one-player mode, you'll see the difference. However, I use so many I use up all my opportunities that I possibly ever had to get my results within less than 90 seconds. I don't know why I screwed over on this. And as I said before, if I played on Pro, I would kill myself. There's no way I'd end up playing this on Pro. But let's go back to PS2 column, seeing I only have a few minutes. So, PS2 columns brings back the whole battle mode from columns 3. So, in a sense, it's sort of like you're going back to what they originally had, except for the fact that there's a point system in columns 3 where if you have 10 points or more, you can press the A or the C button, and it would like knock up your opponent's screen by 1 bar, and they'd have to gain some points and attack you in order to lose that bar, or get the upside down triangle magic jewel, which you'll be seeing later when I do the LP. Nevertheless, though, you play as this character known as Culet, and Culet, she's looking for the columns that were stolen from a museum. There are 6, sort of like the Chaos Emeralds. Yes, it is definitely a Sonic reference. And I cannot figure out for the life of me as to how to beat the final stage, because the final stage is where you get the 6 columns jewel, and I just cannot for the life of me get through it. Somebody will have to give me a strategy guide of that game, because I don't see how to beat, Pseudo King Tut. Apparently the final boss is King Tut. Well, it's not really King Tut, but you get the point. But yeah. Nevertheless, there's actually a few other things I wanted to show off. I'll be showing that in an extra video. Now, I did say I would upload that later tonight. I definitely will upload it later tonight. I just need to re-record some of the content, but nevertheless, that's the end of part 4. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough of columns, and yeah, see you for the extra video and a few other things. So, yeah, see you then.